Tamsin, I love how you described yourself as someone who is like, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do my hair, put my makeup on, and get on with it, or crack on with it.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to ask you about that, because processing emotions is obviously an important part of all
Yeah.
this too. And I think people have difficulties. It's a fine line, right, between letting yourself feel and then sort of getting to, you don't want to feel sorry for yourself, and there are all these things. But how did you balance that? How did you allow yourself to truly understand, okay, it's okay to feel these things and
Yeah.
also keep moving?
It's like you say, it's really difficult, isn't it? A lot of the time I have, I get grateful every day on a daily basis for being alive, and that's how I start my day. Remind myself, that I'm really lucky, because it might not have been like this if I hadn't been diagnosed, or, it wouldn't be like this. And then on the other side, the hard side, it was like I had allergic reactions with obinutuzumab, and that brought my whole body out in an enormous rash, and I had to have an ambulance out because they thought my throat was closing up. And so those times you feel absolutely on the floor, and there are, I won't go into it too much because I'll end up crying for ages, but there are really dark days and there were really bad times. But I did reach out when I felt really, really bad, because I didn't think, there were some days that I wasn't going to do. I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. But I did reach out, but I've never felt like that before. And thank God I haven't felt like it recently. But I didn't want, those days, they do come, and also with COVID and shielding, I felt like I'd given up my business. There was one day Mike drove off, in driving my car to what I saw was my workplace with my girls in the office. But then I've got a different life today. I do work, but, at the time it was just really hard. And I did reach out to Macmillan Gateway in Nottingham when I had those days where I didn't think I was actually going to, I didn't want to do it anymore, and I think, and that was my lowest, and no one would understand unless you've been there, what it's like. It's just it's like, it's really, really, it's just awful. Yeah. So I have had to find different ways of coping and getting around situations, like being able to see friends, because it's really social and used to love going out, and then all of a sudden, you're stuck in because you've got no immunity and there's COVID there, and it was hard. Yeah.
Since we're here, before we go back to, the diagnosis, would you share a little bit more about, because I think there are a lot of people who are going to watch and read this and they can relate to the darkness. I remember getting to a very dark place too. I'd never experienced depression before. And then all of a sudden I was thrown into the deep end of what the darkest sort of depression.
Yeah.
What did the worst of it feel like for you? But more importantly, how did you move out of it? Which I know can be hard. So one important thing I heard, you called for help, which is hugely important. Are there any other tips or guidance you have for people after you describe sort of how did it feel? How bad did it get?
It was, it was just like, just not wanting to, just basically wanting to take an overdose. That was it. Just not wanting to wake up. Yeah, that was it. And you can't really talk to any friends or family about it because no one gets it, and everyone's trying to be really positive and upbeat, and everything's being done to help you, and it's all really good, and which it is, and I'm absolutely eternally grateful for all of that help, and the hospitals and everything, and my consultant nurses, but that feeling of everything's disappeared overnight. I don't have that life anymore. I've got to live this life. Do I want that life? But yeah, I do want that life today. So that's the difference. I do. But when I was down there, I couldn't see a way out. And I was just at the beginning of all the treatment and the allergic reactions and feeling awful. Also, I was, you know, on a lot of painkillers and steroids, and and you think, imagine my body's never had loads of stuff like that, and it's going to have its toll on you. I just felt everything was hard, really difficult, and I've never felt like it before. So, but I did reach out and I got help, and I'm I'm just really grateful for the people that were there. But it's got to be professional people that will be able to help you, because no one else understands it. I mean, it's always good. I've got a really good blood cancer friend, and she gets it. So someone else with a similar, if they've got blood cancer and then you're going for other tests, or other people, like there's a really lovely guy that came and fitted the windows, and he'd had another blood cancer, and so you get it if you're in the same exclusive club.
The great club we are so exclusive in.
The cancer club. It's always good to talk to other people with cancer, or someone that's been through treatment. Or I mean, when I went into hospital and that with my allergic reaction, because I kept having to go back in, they were going, oh yes, you're the one with the allergic reaction, because I had it so badly, and obviously no one had an allergic reaction like that recently, so I knew it was pretty rough. But it was hard. I think the mental side of it, the leaving, having to step back from work and step back from my whole life as I knew it overnight, it was just gone. From Thursday through to Friday, it had disappeared, and we had to move really quickly, but we did. And my husband, took over, got into the business and stuff, so that was great. And the most important thing was the girls, really. They kept me going. That's it, isn't it? And family, friends,
and the love that you can count on from them and for them. Thank you so much for sharing all that and being so vulnerable, because in that vulnerability, I think it's going to help so many people. So much of what we do is about showing that we are not alone. A lot of our experiences are very similar in what we feel, in the darkness that can really start to pervade our lives, and I love that I heard you say, one, reach out for help. Professional help is important. People who love you, I agree. I mean, as much as they love me, they would not understand what I was feeling and going through. And a lot of it is, oh, it's going to be okay, because they feel that's what's going to help you. And related to that, what I heard from you is talking to people in this community, other blood cancer patients, especially people who are, who have experienced your treatment or whatever, they really get it. And that's so wonderful. So now going back to what we were talking about, you were thinking about your husband and the girls and breaking the news. How was that? How do you have any guidance, especially in terms of being a parent, telling your children? How did you handle that?
Well, I was in hospital the Thursday, Friday, and then they let me home the Saturday morning. And Mike brought me home, and then we sat in the kitchen, and I just said to him, I just basically have to be honest. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and also I've got to tell them, and I've got to tell them that I'm having a load of tests next week. And I've always been honest, and I'm really straight down the line. And if I think something, I'll say it. I am really straightforward, and I don't, and I just kind of said it how it is. But I said, what, I'm going to do everything I can to keep on going. And if anyone, I didn't know at the time that blood cancer can be treated over a long period of time. I felt like, I've got to fight it. I don't feel like that now, but I said, I will fight it, and I will do my best, and I will, so I tried to reassure them. But it was awful. There was a lot of tears. It was really, really sad, and it was tough, really tough. It was horrible. It's something you never want to have to do, but you do have to do it. And I think for me, just being, they were they're teenage girls. Just to be honest with them, I've never, you know, I've always been the way I am. So I think that was easy. That was the easiest way for me to be, just straight down the line. And Mike had to ring around my family and everything, because I couldn't speak to anyone. You know, when I was in hospital, I couldn't do it, and they all knew the results were coming in, so he had to sit in the car and ring everyone. So he did that. So that was tough for him.
Did you tell everybody when you found out it was a blood cancer, or did you wait until you found out it was chronic lymphocytic leukemia?
No, I just told them, because everyone, I mean, you know, I just told everyone. And also I had this thing in my head that, you know what, if we talk about stuff, it becomes less scary. And I share everything to do with work and my personal life, you know. And I can remember one of my friends saying, why are you going to share that on like Facebook and Instagram, you know, to your clients and stuff? And I said, well, actually, all my friends know, and all my clients and candidates to me are friends. And if I make this less scary for my daughters, and all my daughters' friends can talk about it, and everyone talks about it as if it's normal, rather than it being, oh my goodness, she's got blood cancer, you know. And I just thought, if we can all talk about it, then that's the best thing to be. And then the people in the community can help support the girls, their friends can, and the mums and dads, and that's what they did. You know, they picked up the girls, because, you know, and you know, all the kindness, you know what I mean. I just think for me it was just say it how it is.
I love it. When you shine a light on something, right? You take it out of the dark. It can really help with the entire conversation. And I'm so glad you did that for yourself and for the people around you. And we haven't even gotten to the fact that you had to go through more tests to actually get that CLL diagnosis. You had been told initially that it might be lymphoma because of the lymph nodes that were swollen. The groin, stomach, under your arms, you had an enlarged spleen. So then I'm going to walk through. So then you'd had a lymph node biopsy. They took the lymph, the biopsy from under your arm. Could you briefly describe what they did? It was just like
it's like a little puncture, and they take a tiny bit out. So it hardly takes any time. It was, you know, it was all right.
like local anesthesia and
local anesthetic, just an injection, and then literally it's over and done within like 3 seconds.
Okay. A little bit different was the bone marrow biopsy, I'm sure.
Oh my god. Yeah, they did that. The first time they did it on the ward, when I was a patient in the ward at the hospital, and they said, we want to do it quite quickly, so we'll do it on the ward, but if you want to do it as an outpatient next week or whatever, then you can come back and you can have gas and air. And I was like, oh gosh, no, I just want it done. So they said, okay, well, we can't give you any pain, you know, any relief or whatever. So there was the doctor and someone else, and without any gas and air, and I lay on the bed, and I've never felt anything like it. That pain was just unbelievable. I mean, I was in labor for about 48 hours with my first daughter, but that was then a C-section. But this pain, pulling it out, was horrendous. It took about 25 minutes to get it out. And then, so yeah, that wasn't very nice. But when I had it done again later on, I had gas and air, so that was fine.
So maybe people can ask, depending on where they are, for more assistance in getting through it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Gas and air is really good.
And then you had a PET scan, and it took, after all these different biopsies and the PET scan, it took from when you got your first diagnosis of blood cancer another 2 weeks to truly get your diagnosis. Can you describe what they said, like what you had and what your outlook was? And
you know, I mean, I can remember going in for the first meeting, and I took my notepad and pen and all my questions, and you know what, I wish I'd got that now on me, because I'd be able to tell you what I asked. All, you know, I was concerned about how quickly I could start my treatment once, you know, and it was all new to me. They literally gave me a booklet on chronic lymphocytic leukemia to read because it was all brand new. And then they also said then that they'd taken, they were looking at my DNA to see what deletions I'd got. I think I'd got a P11 deletion or something. So, and that would determine which drugs that I would start on in August. So they still had to wait for that. So they'd given me the diagnosis. I'd ask questions like, how long am I going to live? How long remission do people get? I didn't really understand. Could I have a stem cell transplant now? Could I have that done now? But you can't. That's the last thing that you have done if you can be treated with drugs. And you know, there were just so many questions. But I don't think, you know, I didn't understand much, and I don't think I took very much in either.
It's hard in that first appointment too. We've heard people say, bring someone, or you can record, maybe ask the doctor, can I record the appointment?
Yeah.
Because so much of it is lost because you have so much that's being told. So I appreciate you running through all that. We're just going to keep going and have one video of this, and we'll divvy it up after. But so when you were told CLL, we'll describe, also put up descriptions about the deletion and the stage. But you didn't have any other, you know, you mentioned there was no other cancer. There was a lot in your right shoulder and your pelvis area, which is why you felt those
in the bone marrow. Yeah.
The bone marrow. Yeah.